Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Poem Massive video, and today let's talk a bit about Ball Guy and Amoonguss, which is dropping on reset. So, as usual, we'll be pulling for it live, and make sure y'all are subscribed and have notifications on for the live stream when that happens, and also good luck to anyone pulling. So, let's get into this unit a bit, and that's weird phrasing, but whatever, ignore that. So, this unit is weird. Is I feel like the best word to describe it. It is weird. It's a weird unit. It is a funky unit. It is it's very quirky. All right. So on multiple levels, the unit itself is a bit odd, and also the banner is a bit odd because it's going to be. If you guys, I remember it's on a variety scout. The last time we had a variety scout was the Evolutions one, and. Is this going to be the same format as last time? I'm not sure. And I don't think there is any evidence that it's going to be the same as the last format. So if you're thinking, oh man, you know, the last Variety Scout format sucked, which means obviously no one's going to pull on this, right? I don't know. I don't really know because it's very different from the Evolutions one, because the Evolutions one, they turned it into a variety scout because they had 3 units in there, they split the rates, blah blah blah. It was kind of weird and cringe and whatever, right? But this one, again, I don't have I don't have conclusive evidence to tell y'all that it's gonna be different, but I'm just saying there's a chance, right? Because it's for a variety scout, there's only 1 unit in there, so who knows, right? Because but put it this way, right? If there isn't any other different changes to this variety scout, it would just be a spotlight. Basically a spotlight, except the unit doesn't go into the general pool, which, if that was the case, then they could have just made it like a Pokefair, right? Pokefair has the same, spotlight 2% rates on the featured, and is also limited, right? It's just that these Pokefairs have like a slightly higher 5-star rate, right? So look, I'm not saying 100% this way or another, but I'm just saying there's a chance the banner might actually be different from last time, because from my understanding, Variety Scout is just like a other scout, and there is a chance that it could change every time based on the units that they're trying to do on it, right? So anyways, just get that aside, and also as for the unit, also slightly weird. And let's go into that weirdness right now. And first, starting from the stats, HP is pretty good, right? Defense, special defense, not an issue, right? Pretty solid for a tank. That's all great. The special attack's not anything too crazy, right? If you're wondering, it has absorb, so some people might think that would have been relevant. I don't think it's gonna be relevant, but anyways, whatever. Yeah. 181 speed is very bad, right? The speed is pretty bad. It's like sub 200, which is yikes, right? But that aside, going into the moves, again, we talked about it. Absorb 1 gauge at least, which is decent. Move gauge boost, which you kind of want. Usually this is like a move that if I see move gauge boost on a unit, it's like, oh well, guess this unit only has 3 moves then. But for Amoonguss is actually could be nice just because the atrocious 181 speed, right? Terrible speed. Then you have Clear Smog, which Clear Smog is nice, right? Clear Smog is definitely nice. First of all, it never misses and returns the target's raise stats to normal. The combination of those 2 things, first of all, the fact that it doesn't miss, then turning the opponent's raise stats back to normal would be fantastic for units like, or for stages like Cresselia, Legendary Gauntlet, like the Latios Legendary Gauntlet, right? So Clear Smog is definitely very, very good. And then you have On the Ball, which is the trainer move, which activates one of several additional effects at random, restores the user's HP approximately by like 10 of its maximum HP, moves all status conditions from all allied sync pairs, raises the crit of all allied sync pairs by 1 rank. So this is not this, right? There's a bunch of random effects that he could activate, but these 3 are guaranteed. These 3 are guaranteed. You're guaranteed to heal 10% of your HP every time you use this move, guaranteed to remove all status conditions from your team, and buff your crit by your team's crit by 1 when you use that move. This is like a bunch of other random effects, right? That is not really much related. So these are the effects it's talking about, right? You have this. Let me enlarge it a bit, right? 70% chance of getting +1 of these like random stats, right? And the chances of each individual one is, you guys could read, right? And then there's a second effect of physical and special move up next, but that's only a 10% chance to activate. Third effect is heals 20% HP, and then the last effect is gives super effective up next. I'm assuming that's those the last 3 are for the entire team, right? Anyways, I would assume it would be. It's just not clarified in this graphic, unfortunately. So yeah, those are nice, but again, the chance of getting them are relatively small, right? Like to get the just like random stat boost, because look, random +1 stat boost is kind of doo-doo. Let's be real, and unreliable, right? And as for the other 3. The other 3 are nice, right? The other 3, I mean, if you're healing your team at the like start of the battle when no one takes damage, that would kind of suck, but the other ones are generally fine, right? Unless you're off typing, then super effective up next would be completely useless as well, but you know. Anyway, so yeah, those are the extra random effects, and the stuff that he has on his trainer move listed afterwards are all just guaranteed to activate. So, alright. Sync does nothing special. As for your passives, you have Destructive Touch 9, 100% chance of leaving an opponent that attacked the user poisoned, paralyzed, or asleep when the user is hit by an attack move. And then you have Underhanded Refresh, which 100% chance of restoring 1 MP for the user's moves when its attack moves is successful against targets that are affected by a status condition. Right, so, you know, use that in tandem with first passive, obviously. And then the last one is 100% chance of raising a random stat for your team when you get hit by an attack move, right? So every time you get hit by an attack move, you have a chance to poison, paralyze, sleep the opponent, and also get one of these random stats buffed. And then, you know, once they are status, you hit them, and then you get 1 MP back for all your moves, which is very nice, right? You get, you know, move gauge boost, clear smog, and your train move, which the first 2 has 2 MPs, the last one only has 1, right? So yeah, you have to kind of sort of alternate between, I'd say, probably using your trainer move and depending on circumstances, clear smog, maybe absorb, I don't know, right? Or move gauge boost if you're out of gauges. So that's always nice, right? So on average, every other turn, why did I just do that? On average, every other turn, you get to you get to use your trainer move again, right? Which heals 10% of your HP and gets one of those random effects. I mean, does all the other stuff too, but in terms of a longer battle, that's probably the more important part. So, okay. Anyways, as for the units grid, all right, if you're trying to pull from how many do you want? At 1 out of 5, it's fine, right? 1 out of 5, it's fine. You actually do get something really nice at 1 out of 5, which is this, right? Team Randomizer raise 9, which make it so that every time you use your trainer move, right, it guarantees to buff one of those random stats. Which again, it's random, so you can't really rely on it for team building. But you know, if you get something like a speed here or there, that's definitely going to be nice, or some of those defenses. Or if you're lucky and you get the exact offensive stat you need, right? That could be decent. But yeah, other than that, it's just the rest of your base kit for the most part. Don't have any big stat notes either. And 2 out of 5, you do get a lot of nice stuff at 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you get Stoic 9 and Acumen 9. right? So guarantees buff either physical or special defense every time you use Clear Smog, which is pretty good. Because like again, every other turn you're healing 10% of your HP back. So as long as you could, you know, make sure you don't get crit, give them vigilance. You know, you throw in the defense buffs in there, right, from Clear Smog and Acumen. So as long as you don't get hit too hard every other turn, you are healing 10% of your HP, and even a bit more if you're doing Absorb. And actually, you know, no. But yeah, and you also get move gauge refresh on all the moves. You also have Propulsion 1, 20% chance of reducing move counter by 1. It's kind of whatever. I mean, 20% chance of sync move counter by 1 is very, very unreliable, and usually when you are going for, you know, sync move countdown team comps, you have to make it guaranteed, right? Unless you're going for a crazy RNG run, which, I mean, good luck. Okay, so yeah, 2 out of 5 is honestly not bad, and then 3 out of 5 is the rest. 3 out of 5, you have some really nice stuff. You have Vigilance, Impervious, right? You have Master Healer, which is low-key really cool, because again, that's every other turn. At least 20% over here, right? And if you could hit that 10% for the extra 20% buff, that's you know, even better, right? I'm not sure, would this count towards the random effect trigger? If it does, great. If it doesn't, it's still solid. And then after that, right, got your other move gauge boost, move gauge fresh 9, which is a bit of a meme. Toxic chance 4 and absorb is not as terrible as you think, because you think, oh, what the heck, who cares? He already has the guaranteed, you know, poison, paralysis, sleep. Okay, but what if there's like a stage where you specifically want a toxic? For example, like, I don't know, like Yuxi, right? What if Yuxi already recovered from and is immune to like sleep or paralysis at the time, and then you just keep on getting a paralysis or sleep trigger, right? That would be super annoying. Or if you're specifically running with some like poison team, then yeah, right? Because then you don't want the opponent to get paralyzed or put to sleep. I mean, probably still want them to put to sleep just because it's sleep. Impervious again is good. Interference immunity, very, very, very good as well. So team hit me up 9. I don't really care about this one. It's just too random for you to cost like 10 over here, right? I mean, this thing is good just because you have like no other options when you're at 1 out of 5, but when you're at 3 out of 5, like you probably don't really want stuff like this, right? So yeah, it's 3 out of 5. It definitely is very, very good. I'd say 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5 are all pretty nice. There's merit to go for either one of those levels in terms of dupes. So yeah, all of them are pretty good. All right, now for some Synchron and Lucky Skill recommendations. The Lucky Skill kind of depends on like what dupes you have, right? I mean, at 3 out of 5, you do have stuff like Vigilance, then or Interference Immunity in the grid, which in that case you might not want to pick them up as Lucky Skills, obviously, right? But at 1 out of 5, like those are still good, right? Whether it's Vigilance, whether it's Interference Immunity, right? What's the other one? The Status Immunity is nice too. Healthy Healing could be decent. Move Gauge refreshed, low key, because again, this guy's pretty slow, right? But yeah, I mean, most of the time, you're only using gauges once per sync cycle. So I mean, it still kills your own team's gauges unless you're using move gauge boost for that turn, which is kind of a waste, but you know, it is what it is for a unit this slow, right? But yeah, those are all solid options. As for like your grid 1 to 5 wise, yeah, definitely pick this up, just because like it's like the one thing that's like semi-useful at all in his grid. So yeah, and the rest you could pick these, and if you have the orbs, you could max everything out, obviously. So at 2 out of 5, I feel like you probably go for something like this, where you get Stoic, you get Acumen. If a stage you're fighting specifically is only just physical or only just special, then okay, you could drop the other one, I guess. Although on the other hand, like what are you really picking up? There's not that much stuff to pick up, right? So yeah, you can still pick up this randomizer raise over here. You can pick up propulsion. It's not like the best, but like again, you just don't have too much else unless you want to go for like one of these move gauge refreshes, which sure, I guess, or that special defense plus 10. But yeah, that's probably what you want to go for. Maybe pick up that speed node over there, which makes it slightly less terrible, even though it's still pretty terrible. But okay, as for 3 out of 5, Third 5, you have a lot of options, right? Like units like these, your grid completely depends on what stage you're facing, and obviously the teammates you're bringing in, right? But I'd say something general like this would be pretty nice, where you have the Master Healer over here, right? Which again, like every other turn, you're guaranteed to heal 20% of your HP is not bad, man. That is not bad. And then you back it up with defense and special defense buffs, right? So you could actually survive, unless you want to like just rely on like this buffing your defenses, which is not reliable, is anything but reliable, right? And also you do have like the random effects that could maybe, yeah, no, don't rely on that stuff. Make sure you have your defenses buffed. Pick up Master Healer, pick up Impervious. You're gonna be a great tank. Great tank. This is just a general tank build. And if you're wondering, okay, what about Vigilance? Just lucky skill to Vigilance. Yeah, he already has Vigilance in his grid, but Vigilance is infinitely easier to roll than something like, I don't know. Wait, Impervious isn't even available, right? Yeah, so yeah, just yeah, this is just a really great tank build. Depending on the circumstances, maybe you want Interference Immunity instead, right? If it's a stage that does that, maybe in this case you drop Impervious, but with that you could maybe pick up something else, right? Be Vigilance in this case, where if you do pick up Vigilance here, then you want some other lucky skill, right? So yeah, a lot of fluidity with this unit and the stuff that he could do, and stuff you want to pick up or whatever, right? So yeah, those are nice, right? Again, I'm not a huge fan of these two nodes personally, right? But all the other stuff, right? Interference Immunity, Impervious, Vigilance. These three just really depends on which what stage you're trying to go for, right? So yeah. Now let's go over some pros and cons of the unit. Pros, it's a good healing tank, right? Again, if you could at 3 out of 5, right, 20% of your HP back every single turn, or every other turn, is pretty good, right? Even 10% is not that bad, and you also have that 10% chance of getting that extra 20% heals, right? So it is a pretty good healing tank. And you know, you got all that other tank stuff, Vigilance, Impervious, Interference Immunity, defense buffs, right, etc. So there is that, right? And then it just has a lot of gauntlet counters. It's like a Swiss Army knife gauntlet counter unit, right? You have Clear Smog to beat Latios, to beat Cresselia, and you know, some others, but those are like the main ones. I mean, all of them buff their stats, but those are the two where you actually have to really just, you know, deal with their stat buffs. And as for some others, you also do have, you know, the Poison, Paralysis, and Sleep that you could go ahead and use as a Yuxi counter or a Cobalion counter or kind of a Tornadus counter. You just have to like roll the Paralysis specifically, right? And then on top of that, you also have Interference Immunity, right, which you could use against Entei, which is great Entei counter. Impervious, which could be a good Azelf counter, and you know, among other things. So yeah, it's just a really nice legendary gauntlet counter where it could counter a lot of different units over there, right? And then it has max crit buff, so that's nice. Infinite MP, kinda. It's not. You can't technically say it's infinite MP, just because not every stage can be status, right? And some stages, again, once they recover from status enough times, you'll be immune to those statuses, and if the opponents aren't status, then you can't do it, right? You can't get your MP back. So also in like master mode, you have to not pick up the no status opponent thing, right? As well. So there's also that. But yeah, if they can be status, that's basically infinite MP, and yeah, and the last one, it's a ball guy. I don't know, people like ball guys, so there's that. As for the cons, number one, it's slow, like 180, like negative, right? That's just, this guy's definitely going to be a liability in terms of your team speed. Although again, himself is probably not going to be that bad just because he's not really using too many gauges, right? But again, your speed is what it is, right? It's just pretty bad over there. And what else? It's very stage specific, because it's not like a really great like general support. You just throw this on any team and it's gonna be like against any stage and it's gonna be like a top support. No, most of the time you would find better supports against most stages, but against specific stages, very specific stages in those gauntlets that we just mentioned, he's very good there, right? And then last one is unreliable buffs, right? The team hit me up 9, which he has 2 of, right? Unreliable. Team randomizer raise 9, unreliable. The random buffs that he gets from, you know, the 75% several effects thing on his training move, unreliable. And all the other physical move up, the special move up next, super effective up next, all that stuff, unreliable, right? A lot of this, the buffs are just unfortunately unreliable. So all in all, how's the unit? This I don't feel like this is really a unit for like your average player, right? If you're just playing this game casually, like whatever, who cares? Like maybe you just beat like master mode once like each weekend, like that's basically it for the most part. You do some like, I don't know, events, blah blah blah, sure, fine, right? This is probably not a unit you want to go for. This is mostly for people who go hard on like legendary gauntlet, I'd say, right? If you want to go hard on legendary gauntlet, you want to go for those big streaks, which by the way I'm gonna do a streak this time. Heads up, I'm still planning it, but you know, it's just gonna take a while. But anyways, we'll do one because it's a really fun one, right? You got Moltres and Latios, but anyways, but yeah, it's a great unit for gauntlet users, right? Gauntlet players. You want to go for, again, big streaks, whatever. Immensely powerful for that. But again, if you're just general run-the-mill use, I'd say not very much, right? Not saying that he's like totally garbage outside of Gauntlet, because that's not true. I mean, it's still a unit that could here, you know, give you the max crit buffs, take some damage, right? Take some hits, and if you're lucky, you get some really nice stuff out of those buffs as well, right? So it's not like a completely useless unit outside of Gauntlet. It's just, you know, you're just gonna get more mileage out of it in Gauntlet. And I'd say if you have good enough supports for stuff like Master Mode, for I don't know, other things, right? Most of the time you probably won't use him over some, again, better supports, right? Yeah, so that being said, I'd probably give it like a 6.8 out of 10 for a score, because it is a solid enough unit. It is definitely a solid enough unit. It just really depends, right? It'd be a higher score if you play Gauntlet, lower score if you don't, right? And in terms of the banner, Variety Scout wise, we're just still not 100% sure how this banner is going to work this time, right? We've mentioned it earlier. There's no proof it's going to work exactly like the evolution one last time, right? I'd say there's a chance it's going to be different. So we'll see if it's some really cheap banner, right? They throw in a lot of like discounts, a lot of, I don't know, presents or whatever. Obviously that would influence this, right? But overall, pull score wise, again, it just heavily depends on if you play Gauntlet or not, right? So anyways, alright, that's me in this one, I guess. Hope you all gentlemen guys think in the comments down below, like, enjoy the videos for our channel for some more Pokemon content. Again, tune into the stream later tonight when we try to pull for him, see how it goes, and yeah, have fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck guys at pulling, and bye.